guys, Steve here from Bloom Audio. Today, we've got some IEMs from Kinera Audio. Kinera Audio's a fairly young brand that's been making waves with a selection of IEMs that combine good looks, great sound, and competitive prices. Sounds like a pretty easy formula there. So we won't be able to cover their entire line of IEMs, but we have some highlights today, the Idun, Freya, Norn, and Nanna. So what's so great about these IEMs? Let's take a look and find out. So Kinera really loves these sort of hexagonal boxes here. They also provide a pretty impressive package in each one. With some of the lineups including things like multiple cable terminations on different adapters. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to start with Idun. This is, the smallest box of the bunch we have here. I pre-opened these because they're sometimes a little annoying to open. So there's a little user manual included here with some more information about the IEM. And these cards are pretty cool. Giving you some more information about Kinera, Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. It's a fairly simple metal black case. You open it up and we've got the IEMs and a couple of ear tips. So if you want to take a closer look at these are not the same kind of hand-painted designs as some of the other ones, but it's a very nice, it's resin finish. It has a little bit more of a plasticky feel than the upper end ones. The cable feels, very soft for the price. Again, just, it's a solid IEM. Great look and color to it. And this one has, again, the kind of the simplest package of the four we're talking about today. Next up is Freya. So package here is a little bit of upgrade over Idun. You get a little bit more, the same community card. The user manual's a little bit more robust here. Some information on that. You get information about Freya and the different colors that the IEM is available in. And some information about the designer and about how each one is hand painted. So in the box, you get the IEMs themselves. So you can see each one is going to be a little different since they're hand painted. You get the selection of ear tips, adapters here. This is the lightning one. In the case itself, gotta love that sound. There's some more ear tips. The cable, this is basically a copper version of the same cable that comes with Nanna. This is a pretty nice cable. I'm just gonna, dump it all over the place. But yeah, you can see it's a nice wrap. It's a solid copper cable, very high quality there. And do you want to take another look at the case? Kind of fits the color on the packaging. I don't believe the case comes in any different colors. Even if you get a different IEMs, you still get this same design on the case. So again, a step up in the package here with the presentation and the pack-ins, the different adapters, and all of that. So Norn is where we move into Kinera's sort of top end here. So we get the Imperial series. So again, similar manual to Freya, some information about the final tips you get with it. Community card with also some information in this sort of fold out design. Again, about them being hand painted, the design of each one. You get the IEMs themselves. Again, these are hand painted, so the idea is that each one is just a little bit unique, even though you're working off the same design. In the case is where you'll find more ear tips. Handy dandy cleaning tool. I think that was also included with the other ones. And the cable, it's a braided silver plated copper cable. Very nice feeling cable, nice look to it as well. And you get the cable itself is terminated 2.5. You get a 4.4 and a 3.5 millimeter adapter. So right out of the box, you can use it with just about anything. Again, really solid. Red's also my favorite color here, so Norn gets some extra points for this red and black look. I really dig it. And finally, we get the Nanna. So this is a similar imperial packaging to Norn, same sort of fold out information with the story about Nanna and Balder. Some information about the drivers, the tuning, and other things. So again, in here, we've got the final E-type things. I do like how they have it like pop out. There's more under here. It's a nice design here. That's not really, those are like the pop outs from there. Not more tips, foam tips as well. The IEMs are right here. Really dig the look on the Nanna. I described it. It sort of looks to me like a mountain in a twilight sky sort of deal, like the night sky above it. It's really nice. It's kind of mesmerizing. I'm just going to sit here for a minute, look at it. Again, same case as the Norn. I think here's the cable. I think I actually lost the ear tips that went in there. There's some extra ear tips. So this is a similar cable to Freya. And it's a silver plated copper version. Again, all these cables are very nice. I'm doing a great job mangling and tangling them. And with Nanna, you get just a straight up adapter for the cable is 4.4 out of the box. You get a 3.5 and a 2.5 adapter for that, rather than the little extra little cable adapters you get with Norn. So these are all great looking IEMs, and the packages are really well put together. So really great design here by Kinera. Idun, Norn, and Nanna all feature somewhat similar sound, some similar qualities and usage, kind of a pretty versatile tuning that works with rock, pop, EDM, a lot of popular genres and other things. Freya is a little different with a slightly brighter tuning that maybe fits in a little bit more with more vocal driven folk, indie, pop, that sort of thing. So we'll break down each one and talk about some of the characteristics there. So starting with Idun, you get a largely neutral sound from the 2-driver hybrid setup with one balanced armature and one dynamic driver. There's some good low end extension, so maybe a little bit of a bump in the mid bass with some emphasis in the highs. So some less expensive IEMs tend to do this in the audiophile space, where they have a little extra emphasis at the top. You get a little extra sizzle and splash, and you really get that extra bit of definition that I think helps differentiate them from more consumer brands that are in the same price range, that are going to have more of a bass focused V-shaped, less interesting, less detailed tuning. So it tend to emphasize that upper end just a touch to really help it stand out. So Idun definitely does that. The 3D image is presented, generally cohesive and coherent manner. The soundstage isn't too big, but it does a really good job with the space it does have in not becoming cramped or crowded in busy sections or with, orchestral type recordings where you have, dozens of different parts all on top of each other. Idun holds it together pretty well on that space. So for under $200, looking for a balanced, very coherent, versatile sound, Idun does a great job there. Freya is another hybrid design, this time with 3 balanced armature drivers and a single dynamic driver. Freya's tuning is a little bit brighter, with more of an emphasis in the upper mids into the treble. Now there is still a little bit of a mid-bass hump there to give you a little extra bass impact, but the peak, the emphasis is definitely in the higher ranges. And what you end up getting there is a really good focus on a very personal, intimate vocal sound. And you also get a soundstage that was a little wider than I was expecting from Freya. So you get this, kind of a bigger space with the vocals very up close. Works really well for some, folk, indie pop, vocal jazz, some other, some sort of classic types of jazz. And also some classical, I felt like with more small ensembles, string quartet, solo piano, that sort of sound. It does really well with classical as well. So yeah, with Freya, I don't think it's maybe as versatile as Idun, but the things it does well, it does with excellence and really strong in that price range. Again, with this very emotional presentation in a well put together space. So Norn is a 5-driver setup with 4 balanced armatures and 1 dynamic driver that leans a little bit more on the fun side of things without going all the way into like a sharp V or something like that. So it's a tuning that excels in a lot of modern genres, rock, metal, a lot of modern pop and EDM, but also does well across the board. You still get some of that vocal intimacy that Freya provided, but you get a bigger sound with more bass, better extension, more impact there as well. The soundstage is well constructed as well. Definitely get a 3-dimensional feel, and you can feel some strong imaging and good positioning with the right tracks. I feel like maybe it could get a little congested at points, but with the right tracks, you do start to hear some of that more holographic sense as you're pushing up, the lineup with Kinera. I think in a lot of ways it does feel like just a slightly more fun, better technically put together version of Idun there. That brings us to Nanna, which is a tribrid or trihybrid, or however the cool kids are saying it these days, with 2 electrostats, a dynamic driver, and a balanced armature driver. So in some ways, I feel like Nanna delivers a combination of the best characteristics of all the other ones in the lineup. So starting with Idun, Nanna has a balanced tuning that's versatile and somewhat neutral. They're not truly neutral. It's a little bit warm. But again, it delivers that sense of balance that Idun had that makes it very versatile. Then it does still maintain some of that vocal intimacy of Freya. It does a really good job with that presentation and some of that emotional feeling that Freya gives you, Nanna does as well. But then it adds in some of the fun and engagement of Norn that really creates this addictive sound that's fun and engaging. It's versatile, and it's also got that emotional touch as well. I think one of the highlights of Nanna is the treble extension, where they do a really good job extending up, giving you some air and sparkle, but not making it harsh at any point. Remains kind of smooth and almost relaxed in the presentation of the upper range. So yeah, Nanna's definitely a really strong pick. I think it's the kind of IEM that a few years ago would have been a flagship. But some of the advances in technology and other things have some of the modern flagships in the $2,000-$3,000 range definitely surpass what Nanna's doing. But it's a really killer IEM for under $1,000. Kinera has put together a really strong lineup of IEMs here. Each of them has some unique characteristics that help them stand out among Kinera's lineup and also at their respective price points. The designs and the thoughtful, well put together packages are just the icing on the cake here. Especially, I really wish more brands would include cable options with balanced terminations like Norn and Nanna do, at this price point. And as a fairly young company, this is definitely very promising beginnings for Kinera, and hopefully the successes here point to even better things to come. Thanks for watching. Check out Kinera Audio at bloomaudio.com along with a lot of other great brands. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with more hi-fi personal audio content.